I'm Kim here with Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We're doing another Mystery Mystic Musings reading, and this is part 2 to Debbie Collier's reading. This is where I'm going to now ask some of the questions that my subscribers have asked me to ask for the reading, and I'm going to be using Tarot as well as Oracle to answer those questions. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to check out part 1, the opening Oracle reading that I did on the channel to get a feel energetically of what we were dealing with here, who are the players here, what are the energies surrounding what happened. So check that out. I'll try to remember to put it as a card up here if you haven't already seen it, and for sure it'll be in the description box down below. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I have already recorded the Tarot and Oracle reading. That's already been recorded for Debbie's case. However, I had a question about the Venmo. I wanted to know a little bit more. I wanted further clarification around it. So I'm getting a sense that the Venmo payment was sent as almost like a ruse. Someone did in fact need that money and has designs and plans on it to use it, and may have already started using it, like I'm going to mention in the reading. However, there was a bigger purpose than just the need, and this person who did this needed this money. They need money desperately, because guess what? The well was about to be run dry in terms of money coming to them, and so that caused a panic of sorts. So what this is telling me is that this is twofold. Someone really needed the money. Yes, they did in their mind. They have designs to spend it. They felt like this is a safe way to do it. If it came from Debbie and not some ransom, request, some person who puts in a request and say, okay, we have your mom or we have your wife, and if you don't give us, $50,000, we're going to harm her. This is along those lines, except not really, because you see that card, uniform, impersonation, corruption, and false. It's saying Debbie did this. Debbie sent it. She's an authorized user sending it to someone, giving them permission to use that money to spend it as such. And the message that is allegedly sent by Debbie is quite vague. So you could say, oh yeah, this seems kind of like she's being held against her will, or something's going on. They won't let her go. Or it could be like, oh, I'm tied up right now. They won't let me go. It's giving off a false vibe. The person who is responsible is just as guilty about doing this ruse, giving this false impression and impersonating Debbie, because that's one of the keywords on that card, impersonation, as they are about being responsible for her, demise. Okay, this is someone who's close to home. We see that with the 0 to 15 kilometers, someone close to home. And someone who's either been subjected to domestic violence or some sort of physical abuse in the home, or Debbie witnessed that, or Debbie was subjected to it to herself, or she witnessed it in others close to home. And this is someone who's covering their tracks. I'm not quite sure where the west or 500 to 1,000 kilometers is coming, what that's about. If maybe the person who's responsible has a desire to get away and leave as far as possible, that's a possibility. I'm not also sure what February was saying, but you know what? When the cards jumped, and I just was called to lay them on the table in this instance, so I did. All right, that's it, you all. I wanted to just delve a little bit further into the Venmo situation. And I did ask a couple of questions in the reading. You'll see in just a few moments as you watch this video. I do ask about it. But this gives us a bit more understanding that this was definitely a ruse. Someone did this. Someone close, 0 to 15 kilometers close to home, trying to make it seem, okay, I'm starting to see now, trying to make it seem like it's someone else. So that's what I have here that I wanted to add. Now we can go ahead and get into the official part 2 tarot and oracle reading. Okay, let's get started. All right, so we're gonna ask some questions. We're gonna ask some questions here. All right, Spirit. First question I have for you. 24 hours leading up to her demise. What was on Debbie's heart and mind? What was on her heart and mind 24 hours leading up to her disappearance? We have the Hermit. I'll zoom in a moment. Ten of Swords. Oh, you guys. Oh my God. Okay. All right. All right. What was on her mind? I'm going to pull from the Situations Oracle. Drastic. Oh my goodness. Grip. Divine Feminine. Okay, you all. I'm gonna zoom in on this one so we can get a good look. So remember, the question is, what was on Debbie's heart and mind leading up to what happened? So 24 hours. We got the Hermit and the Ten of Swords. I'm going to have you take a closer look again at the Hermit. Take that in. And then take in the Ten of Swords. And the reason I had a reaction is because I was called to use this specific deck today, to work with this deck. I have a normal deck I use, but for some reason I needed this one. And this is a card I feel like was the reason why. Okay. Intuitively speaking, this is big. So Debbie was feeling like she was having to withdraw. This is literally like a withdrawal of some sort. When you are talking about the traditional hermit, he withdraws from people, he withdraws from things, he goes within, he has to carry the weight of like his worries on his own shoulders. So there's that. But there's also the literal actual withdrawal, something being taken from her, and so something withdrawing from her. And this was her own private hell that she's going through. I say that because of the Ten of Swords. So look at this card. Even if you don't read tarot, you can understand the gravity of how bad she felt. I was wondering if Debbie knew of the impending doom that was coming before her. I was wondering that. And I even commented with one of my viewers or subscribers in the first video. And this card affirms that, yeah, she had some intuitive sense, or there have been threats, words coming at her of harm. She felt betrayed. She felt like, how could this be? Look at all these multiple birds flying over her, and she's laid on the ground. She felt betrayed, just the ultimate sense of betrayal. Impending doom is what comes to mind, like I had intuitively just the words planted in my mind. And so that in the 24 hours preceding what happened, This is the vibe and energy she was feeling. This was not like some sudden attack or some surprise attack, like she didn't know this was coming. This was something that was building over time with the Hermit and the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords, so the 10 is the end. Aces are the beginning. So you go ace, 2, 3, 4, and so on, right? And you get to 10. She knew. Remember, I asked the question, what was on her mind? What was in her heart 24 hours before? This was what on her mind and heart. Not something you would expect from, a woman who maybe she was an office manager, long-standing office manager. She's a wife. She's a mother. For her to be going through this 24 hours before is highly alarming and distressing and makes me upset as a mother. Drastic. We have extreme, harsh, cutoff. I don't know if she had maybe had some words with somebody of like, I'm cutting you off. I got to do something drastic. Things are out of control. And someone she could feel that they didn't like the grip of power that she was trying to now exude. She also felt weighed down by a situation that was caused by a woman with the divine feminine card. This card could also represent her. It could simply represent her, of course, but I'm sensing that all of this in terms of how she was feeling and what she was thinking and needing to do something drastic and knowing something drastic was going to happen to her is related to someone who is a female. Now, I know that people have their suspicions of a particular female. We try over here on this channel to keep an open mind and just look at what the cards are saying. So you all are free to make your own, intuitive guesses here. But yeah, this is how she was feeling and thinking 24 hours leading up to her. So if people wondered if this was like a sudden attack or like this was a surprise or that this is like a stranger, I mean, it very well could be a stranger to her, the person who ultimately did this. But in terms of a progression of time, this was a building dread over months. So in part one, I mentioned that this felt like this was something that was going on for weeks and months and maybe even years in the making. The swords for me represents the timing of months. It also represents the season of winter. So maybe even like we're going on and on and on from last winter, months over months. Sorry for the loud noises. I'm going to wait till they drive by. So now we're going to ask, who is responsible for Debbie's demise? Who is responsible? The Sun, a female, is depicted. I'll tell you. Oh, the Queen of Swords. Interesting. Interesting. And I'll tell you why in a moment. Let me see. Any characteristics? Square-shaped face. Likely female. I'll just stop there. Someone with a square-shaped face? Disguise. Okay. All right, let's first talk about the Sun and the Queen of Swords. So we have the Sun with this young woman, the young girl really depicted in the Sun. She's beautiful. You want to hug this little girl, right? The Sun represents the time period of July 21st to August 20th. So this could be someone who may be a Leo, for example, or have a Leo Sun, Moon, or Rising in their chart. Or it could just simply be that this is just a fond memory of this person, of who they were back when, positive, optimistic, full of joy and life and young and youthful, to becoming the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords at her best, she's powerful. She is a strong communicator, but she, at her worst, can be quite abrasive. She could cuss you out really badly and make you feel really small mentally. She could be the ultimate backstabber because she'll get you in your mind. She'll get in your mind. So to me, this is almost one and of the same person, although it could represent two people, male or female. And then we got the square-shaped face and someone disguised. Now, disguise is interesting to me. Could this be someone who actually was disguised, masked, or covered up when they encountered her? Perhaps. They could have been. I'll pull some additional cards. Or they could be disguised in a way of presenting themselves as one way, but actually being another way, behind the scenes, if you will. So it could be that. Square-shaped face is literally just that. Somebody with a square-shaped face. But sometimes it could be a feature, or that the woman, that is the woman depicted. Sometimes it's just simply that from these cards. Spirit, who is responsible? God, this one came up, I believe, in her last reading. Someone forgetting themselves, peaceful among thorns, and forgetting oneself. Let's sit with that. Peaceful among thorns. So, and then forgetting oneself. Because this card came up in her last reading, it's telling me this is someone who's forgotten who they are. This could represent Debbie being a peacemaker amongst just a family of conflict. And so whoever did this to her is in close proximity to her. All Debbie really wanted was peace of mind and just being able to, family. All she wanted was peace with her family. Look underneath. This was at the bottom of the deck. It's house. I'm going to pull that and we'll talk about that. Karmic partner. So sometimes readings are really more about they're more about confirmation than they are about finding out. Like, we know where Debbie is. We're going to soon find out what physically happened to her through the autopsy. But we don't know all the way yet who did it and why. So this question is speaking to who did it. Let me zoom in a little tighter so you can see. Family jumped. This was at the bottom of the deck. House. Karmic partner. So someone family related knows or is responsible. Okay? Allegedly. This is just what I'm intuitively picking up on, my intuition. My views are my views. My subscribers and their views are their views. Family, house, someone either in the household or it's about a house, over a house, or it's something happening inside of a house and then continuing on out. So it could be all of those things or maybe one or two of those things. And karmic partner is speaking to the fact that this is someone that she was karmically tied to. A soul contract, if you will. Could that be a close relative, a lover, perhaps? Okay. That's interesting. So that's who is responsible. And that's as far as I'm going to go in terms of that. Okay. Now we're going to ask what happened to Debbie. Okay. 9 of Wands. I'm not going to use those. I just usually want 1 or 2, Spirit. And if nothing jumps, then we'll pull from the Oracle. Okay, thank you. 9 of Wands. What happened to Debbie? Someone black hair color. Oh, I think the FBI. Is the FBI involved? I don't know. I haven't really did a lot of looking at this case. You know, I just want the basic facts before I did the reading. I like to keep the facts bare minimum so I can have my own interpretations coming through as best as possible. Oh, man. Okay, so let's start with 9 of Wands. Oh, my goodness. They keep driving by with all their loud noises. Someone with black hair color. That's also, when I see this card that speaks to hair color, it tells me that a person, either with this hair color or a person just in general, is responsible with dark hair. Okay. We know something happened. We know that if you look carefully, this person has bandages. She was attacked. She was, you know, she had to endure a lot, you guys. She fought for her life. She fought for her life. FBI, CIA, I guess they're involved. I don't know, but they could be the ones who end up like getting some pertinent information to understand the level of the fight that she went through preceding her passing. We have spying. Before this all occurred, she felt watched, and someone was actually watching her every move, and in their mind calculating what they were going to do, planning and plotting what they were planning to do. I was wondering if Spirit was going to reveal what happened. You know, we have some general ideas from the first reading, but all I'm able to get so far is poison. This also could speak to someone like over time giving her some sort of poisoning to her body, slipping her something, or seeing if they could coerce her into doing what they want by poisoning her. That's an example. Or it could be that on the day of, or even the day before, the 24 hours before, they gave her something. Or right before she passed, they gave her something that was toxic to the body. But this also could just simply represent that this was a toxic situation that became so toxic that it took her out. It could just be that. Spirit is keeping on with driving home. This is someone close. We got the twins card. Okay, someone close. Let me see if Spirit is willing to share at all how or what happened to Debbie. Sometimes Spirit protects us, like with days and time. As we follow this case, what happens is we start to get a little desensitized. So Spirit may not want us to know all the gory details, but sometimes Spirit will reveal a little bit more and sometimes a little bit less. Okay. I was hoping you would give me something about what happened to her. Are you really going to be stubborn about that? I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to put it on the table. It has taxi, public transport. And this is just telling me that, you know, a vehicle was involved, moved her, or she drove, or someone drove her there after perhaps drugging her. Look at this. Crime of passion and rage. My God. And then this card is seasoned criminal, system knowledge. System knowledge stands out to me, and repeat offender also stands out. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know if Spirit's going to give us much more, and I don't always like to push it. This isn't really... Yeah, this says group fight, and I think the group message... Oh, this is nice, justice. I think the group message is just simply saying that someone had help and someone was ordered or, you know, felt the need and call to do this. And we talked about that in the part 1. Well, at least we see justice on the horizon, right? That'll stay tucked in the deck. Yeah, I don't know. Some things are just better left. Oh my God, look what just flipped out. I literally took the words right out of my mouth. Important details are not being revealed to the public at this time. And so basically I was just simply going to say that sometimes it's just best we don't know at this moment, even energetically speaking. Now, some tarot readers or psychics or mediums may reveal that information on their platforms, and that's, you know, fine. That's their thing. But I don't push issues as much, you know. I just let it go. I just let it go. No. So that's what we gonna do. We're going to let it go for now, if necessary. I feel like the autopsy is one of those things. It's just like with pregnancy tests. When people ask for like a reading, am I pregnant? Well, if this can be answered like legit, real legit with science, like with the pregnancy test, let's go with that. Same with autopsies. Some things I'm just like, I don't know if I need to know all that. But that's just me. Okay, so next question. We were going to ask, and this is one that was from one of my subscribers. I'm going to also turn the ring light a little bit so you guys don't see that glare. So now we're going to ask, was Debbie killed before being burnt? Was she killed before being burnt? Okay, so we got 3 of Swords. Waiting for him to drive off. I left my window open, unfortunately. No, I'm sad. I mean, I could be wrong, but, you know, maybe. But 3 of Swords indicates no. This is heartbreaking. Look, keyword on this card says heartbreak. Keyword on here says no. She was not. Okay. Next question. Another question from one of my dear subscribers. Who received the money? Who received the money? Now let me see what deck I can muster up that answer. Who received the money? Let's see, who received the money? And then we're going to ask, was the money spent? But I'm going to first just do this one. Who received the money? 6 of Cups. Somebody's children. If you're curious about this deck, this is the Slow Tarot, first edition. Here's the backs. Real fine art here. She actually painted these bits, I believe. These images. 6 of Cups. Looks like a male and female depicted here. Cups are associated with relationships, loving relationships. The 6 of Cups is associated with children, nostalgia. We have 2 little people depicted in this particular 6 of Cups. So a man, maybe a boy and a girl, a man or a woman, a couple, benefited. Someone of close relation is what I'm picking up on. I'm going to see, I'm going to pull from the Oracle if nothing really. Okay, we've got aunt. Now, Sometimes when these kind of cards come up, this is just simply saying a close family relation, someone with mental health issues, but someone of close family relation, maybe not somebody's aunt, or it could literally be somebody's aunt. But oftentimes, like when I get the cards that say aunt or uncle, it speaks to me of someone who is of close family relation, very close. An aunt would be very close. So, and she's got a gun. The two guns. This lady ain't playing. She's one you want to be careful to look out for. Maybe she's got some of that Queen of Swords air energy in her chart too. I don't know. She fire. Although my sign, I'm Aquarius, and I have a lot of fire in my chart. So where's that? Okay, so somebody with mental illness and mental health issues. Okay, so that's what's coming up for me. Who may have benefited from this? Someone of close relation. The next part to this question was the money spent? Was the money spent? Six of Wands is indicating yes. This is an affirmative. You see that yes there. But even if I just had just this image without the little symbols and keywords and things, it would be a yes. Six of Wands is an affirmative card. And, Lord, someone felt victorious in getting the money, so they had to start spending it quickly. So, interestingly enough, about the Six of Wands is it represents also the timing of 6 weeks for me. So it could be 6 weeks back, 6 weeks forward. And FBI or the law enforcement agencies who are assigned to this will be looking closely at the transactions coming out of someone's account, especially right after the transaction occurred. I sense, I could be very wrong, that the money had started to be spent. I don't know if it's all gone, but if a show was starting to be spent right away. So they're going to be looking at transactions, I would reckon. I would reckon. Okay. Now we ask the natural next question. What's next in this investigation? What is next in this natural? Or natural. I said natural. Where did that come from? What's next in this investigation? I'm going to reshuffle these just so you know. We got the Hanged Man. Chariot in reverse, but the Chariot nevertheless. Stick you to the side. What is next in the investigation? The Hanged Man is indicating having to kind of wait. Suspect lives near the crime scene. We're going to find that out. So that means someone close. Oh, killer has a history of committing crimes. And so all of this is telling me that things are going to move and start to coalesce, and the investigation's most definitely underway. You can trust and believe that. So this isn't for me. I don't think this is going to be a case that goes cold or that it's going to go without answers. It is going to take a while to move through, and people will start to be like, how much longer do we have to wait with the Hanged Man? And the Chariot in reverse is also about having to really wait for answers. Wait and wait and wait. But overall, I do sense some significant time periods related to this case. The Hanged Man represents the time period of February 21st to March 20th. The Chariot represents the time period of June 21st to July 20th. So this could either be tied to, just developments of movement, trial dates, or it could be pertaining to discovering something big that really opens the case up. I suspect that the officers already have a wealth of information. We see that here kind of confirmed here again. You see all this information floating around. I sense that they know, they're in the know. They're going to see and find, it won't be hard for them to find who did this. They may already have their sights set. Set on it. What's coming up next? I need to be clear. My thoughts are not clear. Plans. Sometimes I'm like, I'll start talking to you all and I'm like, wait a minute. I forgot the question at hand. Helper. What's next? So we just have to keep the faith also with the Hanged Man. And yeah, there may not be fast moving. There's going to be some fast movement. But, and we see that with the boat and body of water, there will be some movement in the case, but there will be many stops along the way. And it's going to be interesting. I'll tell you that. We got country, wilderness, green, and lush. I understand that she was found in an area like off of an embankment somewhere. So maybe critical key evidence that was found there is going to come into play later in the trial and later in the development of the investigation. They are looking, law enforcement is looking at the aspect of it being planned, okay? They're looking at who else was involved. And this also is just like, you know, she was a helper herself. So who was Debbie helping? Is who she was helping the one who is responsible? Maybe she was doing something. Remember that card? Where's my wand? Drastic. She was doing something drastic. Having this person lose a grip on her, and they could not take it. They could not take that. So they planned something. They had been watching and spying on her and doing something. That's why I was saying in part 1, this was something continual over time. Like strategic, and like I wouldn't even be surprised or put it past them that they were like trying to drug her or something to, you know, get her to help or to get, you know, and then she just wasn't going for it anymore. They were on a sinking boat. They were on a sinking boat, and I sense that justice will prevail. We saw that earlier. I might even put that in the picture when it was at the bottom of the deck. I'll see if I can find it for the picture when I take it, the still shot. So that's it, you all. We are done. And they're going to be looking at people's records. The people, a couple of key people involved have a serious record, okay? That it's going to draw police attention to something specific about their record that makes them feel like this is enough circumstantial evidence to move forward with a prosecution. Again, just be prepared to be patient with the chariot in reverse that's not moving fast. Chariot upright is moving fast energy, and the Hanged Man is in movement. That's where we're at. So do me a favor, hit the like button. Let me know that you were feeling this video and if you want more readings like this. Also, leave me a comment. Okay, I want to hear from you, hear your thoughts, hear your intuitive impressions. And then finally, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. It is free to support the channel in this way, and I appreciate you all for doing so. Much love to you all. Please take very, very good care of yourselves. Thank you to my one who had recommended this case and also asked questions for me to pose for this reading. I thank you. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.